Alright, another game. I like that. Speed that up. My opponent and I talked for a good while on this. Opponent was really cool. So it looks like a decent hand, so I go ahead and keep it. I mean, 2 bridge, Inquisition, and I got a Shredder, so I draw a Lantern or a Crane or a Stirrings, and it looks pretty good. Even if they discard a bridge, I got another one. And, yeah, it's not bad. Let's see. Yeah, opponent mulligans that hand, that 1-land hand. I understand, it's probably a good idea. They could have tried to Serum Visions to get their second, but looks like a decent hand, just not quite against me. Opponent did scry a card to the top, so I played Shredder first instead of Inquisition. Yeah. So what I could do here is I have Extraction, and I see my opponent's hand, they have Cryptic, and I could use Extraction to make my opponent shuffle their 2 cards they just scried, but I realized that I really want to extract all of my opponent's Cryptics, because that's probably the only answer my opponent has to bridge. What I have to do is lure out that Cryptic and then search for it. So for now, instead, I grab Snapcaster. Revelation isn't really going to do anything. And that's going to be like a super late game card, and by that time I should have extracted all the Cryptics. I do see 2 Scalding Tarns, so there was the chance that I can mill a Tarn and then surgical extract all those and just put my opponent on 1 mana, but I don't know. I like the the extracting Cryptics more. I think that's a better long game plan. Yeah, opponent has to go do something real quick. And come back. Alright. So there's Mizani. Go ahead and land the bridge. Opponent can't counter it, so it doesn't matter. Now, I know my opponent has Cryptics, so I'm trying to blind mill as fast as I can to get the Cryptics before they get the 4 mana to play it. And I go ahead and lay a second bridge in case they try, return 1. Now my opponent's best plan right here is to Johnny me. And keeps my Shredder tapped. In response, I try to tap it to mill a Cryptic if I can. I do make a mistake this game, unfortunately. But here I'm just trying to bell, for the most part, and get that Shredder back. So here's where I lure out the Cryptic, and now I can surgical all the Cryptics. And opponent shows me the deck, and sure enough, the only out my opponent has now is to try to burn me out and to kill me with a Johnny. Maybe blow up my lands. Here in a bit is where I make my mistake. Yeah, I had to go answer the phone real quick. Alright. Yep. Keep my Shredder tapped. He's trying to build up to blow up all my lands, which would work. Like making my hand fill up, but I go ahead and play a Spell Skite. I do still have to worry about the burn plan a little bit. So opponent does Supreme Verdict, if I remember correctly here, so that they can get around the Spellskite. So there's Ruins. Now, my opponent doesn't ultimate. Oh, I keep the Ruins in hand, because that way if my opponent ultimates a Johnny, I'm still okay. And next turn is where I make the play mistake, I think. Yeah. Opponent does Snapcaster. Only has 1 mana open. So and right now is a prime time to get something to lock down a Johnny. So here's Inventor's Fair. So what I should do here is play fair, sack it, go get a needle a Johnny, I win. Because that's my opponent's only hope. Unfortunately, I don't see that. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to play lands because the Johnny's going to blow up my lands. So then I can play lands. So it was a play mistake. Fortunately, I do survive it. So here go all my lands. Ouch. Now my opponent has... oh yeah, I'm going to start getting life here as well. Opponent only has 25 cards left in library. So it's pretty safe for me to... yeah. Opponent starts playing all the burn spells I can. And I grabbed the Revelation because while it does draw my opponent into a bunch of cards and increases my mill clock, it also draws my opponent into lots of burn and Snapcasters, which I don't want. Very happy I milled that Ghost Quarter. So here's a needle. And that's pretty much it, I believe. We talk a little bit. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much game here, if I remember correctly. Oh, man. And, so yeah, it's... I mean, the game's just about over here. Yeah. Opponent asked me why I stopped milling, and really it was because I have four stirrings, 4 cranes, and I figure what are the chances I'm going to mill a needle and recur it with ruins versus what are the chances that I'm going to draw a stirrings or a crane. And it's more likely that I'm going to draw stirrings or crane. That's 8 out of 40 cards versus milling 3 out of 40 cards. So 8 out of 40, yeah, over however many turns. It seems is a larger chance if I'm doing the math right. But anyways, yeah, we talk a lot here, but it was a good game. And again, opponent was a really cool person. We didn't play a game 2 though, I don't think.